The fate of an empire is sometimes sealed not on a battlefield, but in a hidden cradle. This is the story of that cradle. At the height of the dark millennium, when the shadow of the dragon king Zahhak lay heavy on every soul, a child was born in a nameless corner, far from the eyes of the court. They named him Fereydun. This was no ordinary birth. It was as if a destiny greater than an ordinary life was slowly coursing through his veins. His father, Abtin, had committed only one crime, being free, and in a realm where absolute obedience was the only law, that was enough to condemn him. The king's agents caught him as he fled. Without trial, without defense, before Zahhak, his life ended. The news fell upon Fereydun's mother like a dagger. She knew this was only the beginning. If Zahhak learned of Abtin's heir, the cradle would become a coffin. Exhausted, she reached the keeper of a legendary field, where lived a mythical cow named Barmaye, a creature the high priest saw as an omen of fortune.
She held the child out and said, "He is Abtin's only legacy. Shelter him, guard his secret, and raise him on the sacred milk of this cow." And so 3 years passed.
Zahhak's search did not come to an end, and the fame of the cow Barmai spread across the world. Pharaonic reached the meadow. She looked into the eyes of the guardian and said, "A thought sent from the heavens has taken hold of my heart. It must be done. My child is my very life. I will take him away. I will pass beyond the lands of sorcery as far as Hindustan, and we will vanish into the Alborz mountains." She lifted the child and, like a bird, ascended toward the sharp peaks. Upon that summit lived a devout ascetic.
Pharaoh
said to him, "O man of faith, I mourn for Iran. This child will one day lead. Guard him." The ascetic accepted and took Fereydun under his protection. But the news reached Zahhak of a legendary cow and a distant meadow. Zahhak, like a maddened elephant driven by hatred, stormed toward the meadow. He tore Barmai apart and slaughtered every living creature he found. Then, in haste, he rushed toward Fereydun's home, but he found it empty. His rage became flame. He set fire to the halls and reduced the dwelling to ash. "16 springs had passed. Fereydun, now a mighty youth, descended from the slopes of Mount Alborz. He was no longer the child hidden in the shadows. He stood before his mother and released the question he had carried for years. "Tell me, who was my father? From what root do I grow?" Pharaoh gazed into his eyes and said, "Your father was Abtin, of royal lineage, descended from Tamuras." Then a heavy silence fell. "Your father was—" and Pharaoh spoke what should have remained unsaid. And Fereydun heard what should never have been heard. Fereydun stood motionless. With each word, a fire ignited in his eyes. His heart filled with thorns of vengeance, and his brows darkened with the bend of wrath. Then, quietly, yet with iron resolve, he spoke. "A lion proves its courage only on the field of trial. That sorcerer has completed his wickedness. Now it is my turn. By the command of the pure Creator, I will reduce his palace to dust."
Faranak cried out in terror. "This is madness! He is the sovereign of the world. An endless army from every corner of the earth obeys him. Do not see the world through the intoxicated eyes of youth, for whoever grows drunk on the wine of youthful pride, in the end loses his head to the wind."
The name Fereydun haunted Zahhak's thoughts day and night. Fear of defeat, fear of losing his crown, they gnawed at his heart. One day, upon his ivory throne, the turquoise crown heavy on his head, Zahhak summoned the nobles. He sought to fortify his reign.
To the high priests he said, "I have a hidden enemy. You know him. He is young, but brave and wise." The priests replied, "An enemy, however young, must never be underestimated." Zahhak declared, "Then I will raise an army of men, divs, and peris. Write a decree, bear witness that I sow only good and speak only truth." Fearing for their lives, all obeyed, old and young, without question. Then a cry for justice rose from the gates. A man was brought forward. "Speak," Zahhak said, "who has wronged you?" The man struck his head and cried, "I am Kaveh, a blacksmith whose home your tyranny has burned. If you are king of 7 realms, why is suffering ours? Why was my child's brain fed to your serpents?" Silence fell. Kaveh's child was returned, but the wound remained. "I will never bear witness to this lie," Kaveh roared.
I do not fear a tyrant who reigns through intimidation.
He tore the decree, cast it beneath his feet, and stormed into the marketplace.
He raised his leather apron upon a spear and cried, "Whoever stands with Fereydun, break free from Zahhak's chains. This king is the enemy of the world." The people gathered. Friend was separated from foe. From simple leather hope was born, like the sun in a dark night. Not long after, Fereydun saw the world in Zahhak's grasp. He fastened his belt, placed the Kaviani crown upon his head.
"I go to war," he said to his mother. "Your task is prayer." She wept and entrusted his soul to the divine. Fereydun kept his plan hidden from the world, but he called his brothers to his side. He said, "Be strong and of good heart. The heavens do not turn forever in injustice. Bring the master blacksmiths. The time has come to forge a weapon worthy of an end." He drew its shape upon the earth, the head of a wild ox. A heavy mace was forged, ready for the dragon's end.